Hi and welcome to the channel. My name is Lucius. Today's episode, what we'll be doing is we'll be doing a test game for Fjord Serpents, Vikings at War. This is just going to show the basic mechanics, nothing of the advanced. This is really just a bit of a taster, I guess, for people so that we can move forward and unveil the completed rulebook, which will be released as a PDF as well, a bit of a condensed form for those backers that wanted to read into it and get into it. That's currently where we are with production. Is getting that done before manufacturing. So without further ado, let's get started. In this basic demonstration, we won't be using leaders and other advanced rules, but what we do have is two pretty equal ships. They're both Carvey, which is the smallest longship available within Fjord Serpents, and both of them are armed fairly similarly. So over here with the black and white sails, we have a unit of berserkers, 2 units of spearmen, and some archers, while over here we have a unit of Ulfandar, 2 units of spearmen, and some javelineers. So on a points cost level, these are 18-point ships. With those, the only thing that's upgraded on those ships is the berserker and the Ulfandar, which are both worth 3 points. So that's where we're going with this one. It's going to be a very simple clash, and it's just going to really demonstrate to you how this game works. Now the wind direction we're going to say is just going straight forward like this from me, so straight that way. Okay, so beginning of the turn, we've already indicated the wind direction. This 1 initiative for them and 2 for these guys. So these guys win initiative, which means they get to roll the target dice, which is a 4, and will remain a 4 for the rest of this turn. Okay, this ship opts to, he wants to move first. So first movement phase, these guys run the ship initiative. They decide to move first. And what they're going to do is they're going to drop from full sail to half sail. And that gives the Carvey a 4 movement. And it will take till 2 to get to there using this ruler. And then it will remove a further 2 using this ruler. Alternatively, this ship over here is currently at full sail and decides to stay at full sail. So it's going to move 4. Actually, we'll go to 3. It has a 7 at full sail. And then it moves 4 forward. Okay. Second movement phase, very quick. This ship has already opted to drop to half sail in the last phase. And it can only choose to move its movement once, so it has to stay at half sail. So if I'm going to hit the ship, which I don't think I will, I'm going to miss regardless. I'm just going to have to stay at that same speed, which is an interesting tactic when you think about it from the enemy. So this one's 1, 2, it's going to go to there, and then it's going to move 2 forward. So it's only just out of hitting the ship. So that was a little bit of a tactical irk there. Now this is at full sail currently, and it goes back to their movement phase. Now there's a few options here. We could either try to avoid, or we could hit the ship in the prow. If we stay at full speed, it's going to be maximum hull dice in damage, which is a bit scary, which will be 4 dice. It's always taken from the colliding ship. Alternatively, this ship could drop to half sail because it hasn't changed its movement speed yet. If it did so, it would be -2 to the damage, so it would be 2 dice versus each other. So we're just going to live on the edge and stay at full sail. And wherever I choose to hit the ship, and I'm only really hit it at the front of the ship at the moment. Remember, the wind's going this way, so I sort of want to bring myself around to this side, so this ship is going to drift into anything that's over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it right on the prows. I'm just going to go 1 forward to there, which will be a collision. Okay, so the white ship over here is at full sail. It's going to do 4 dice. We're looking for 4s for major successes. Okay, so what we have here is 1 4, and if there was a 3 or a 5, that would be a minor success, but we don't get that. So what happens though is this ship just takes a straight up 1 hull damage. Now, in response to that, because these ships aren't designed for ramming, what we have is a minor success, and that's it. And that still equals 2 minors will equal a major, so this one takes 1 damage as well. Now, another thing that happens is this ship will pivot from this point, D3, and in this instance it's going to be 2 inches. So basically it'll pivot straight on where it is, and it'll pivot to 2, and this ship will follow and conform. Now, I have the option here of either grappling with the ship, or just bumping it basically. For sake of this, we're going to grapple straight away. So we'll just move these sails so we can see that everything goes stationary upon a collision. Everyone drops sails because it's quite a dangerous situation for the crew and the ships. So they drop sails immediately. Now, in order to grapple this ship, we've both taken 1 hull damage. What I'm going to have to do is activate one of my crew to do so. So what I will do is I'll activate this one. This is the only sort of pre-crew phase activation that you can do with crew, by the way. Okay, and what we have in return is we have a grappled ship. Now we put a blue token on the grappler, and the grappled gets a red token, and that will do various things. Now we're in the crew phase, and what we are going to do here is these guys opted for ship movement, so these guys will get the crew initiative as well. Remember, they've already activated this spearman to grapple that ship, so they can choose where they go. So there's a couple of interesting things I can do here. I can either shoot, which would randomly hit one of these crew. I could brace with this remaining spearman here and hopefully get defensive or offensive bonuses, or what I could do is just to go for a full assault with my berserkers. Now, interestingly here, this is a bit of an interesting situation because berserkers will get like the savage bonus on their first attack, which will give them 3 dice versus their 1. But there's a problem with that, and that's that the Ulfendar's special ability is strike first. So they will get to attack the berserkers before that, which will be a 2 versus 1. So it's a bit of a gamble. If the berserkers were to survive, then they could really trounce this whole ship. They could kill 2 of these units in 1 turn if it works. So I think the best thing we can do is just pray for the best on that one, and praise be Odin, and just go for it. So these guys are going to attack them, which means it triggers their ability, so they'll get to attack first. We're still looking for 4s, so the Ulfendar are striking at the berserkers before they attack. We have a minor success. Okay, so berserkers have 1 dice in defense, which gets nothing. Now, they do have an ability called Fearless, so what they're going to have to do is they need to roll a minor success, so that's a 1 in 3 chance, really, of succeeding, and they'll just shrug these wounds because they are berserkers. And they roll a 3, which is a minor success. It shrugs the wound. Only the berserkers or the Ulfendar can do that kind of thing. Armor is kind of similar too, but armor can be modified, whereas Fearless can't. They're just crazy people. Okay, so the first strike happened and failed. This is good for our berserkers. So now they have 3 dice in attack versus the Ulfendar. Okay, we have a major success and 2 misses. The Ulfendar have 1 dice. They're going to need a major success. They get a minor success. So a 3 is a minor, 4 is a major, which doesn't do anything, unfortunately. So it's now a do or die situation, and the Ulfendar are in a position that the berserkers were before, where they need to get a minor success. They also have the Fearless ability, so a 3 or a 5 will save their life, or otherwise they die. And in this instance, they die. Okay. So the berserkers still have another action, but they have to wait for this one. So these guys are a bit taken aback at the moment. So what they decide to do instead is try and throw javelins and rocks. Okay, so it's going to hit these people on a 1d4. Which one? So there's no 5, so the 2. So the second guy gets hit with javelins. Now it's 2 dice versus 2. These guys are shielded. Oh, 2 major successes with javelins. That's about as good as you can get. Okay, the shields guys on the other side, they roll. They get 1 major success and a miss. Now these 2 cancel each other, but the problem is 1 major success with the javelins has gone through. These guys are unarmored, so that it automatically kills them. All right, so this goes immediately back to the berserkers' turn. So what the berserkers do is they take their second attack, but this time they don't gain the savage rule. So it's 2 dice versus 2 because these guys are shielded. We got 1 minor success. Okay, so 2 shielded guys, 2 misses. That's not great. So what happens is a wound token is put onto these guys, which isn't good. Okay, so that's them. It goes back to these guys and their turn. Now these guys have already thrown their rocks. We haven't done an assault yet. Now I think what we're going to do to get a maximum chance of killing these berserkers is these guys who haven't done anything yet are going to brace. So that means those 2 have activated and this guy is yet to activate. Now over this side, the only thing that hasn't activated is the archers. So that was their activation over there. the archers here decide to shoot, they're going to be 2 dice, and it's who do they hit as a D3, so they'll hit the Javelineers at the back. So they have a choice now. The Javelineers only have a 1 defense. I can choose to use this shielded token, this brace token, sorry, to give me an extra die, so to put me up to 2 versus 2. Or I could just take my chances and put this extra shield onto these guys in assault. What I am going to do, because I'm afraid of berserkers, is I'm just going to take this hit and just see how I go. So it's 2 versus 1. Okay, so paid off because the archers missed. And that ship is all activated now. Now the only thing left to activate is this guy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend this token. And I'm going to give myself 3 dice in attack versus the berserkers 1. Okay, so that didn't pay off at all because it's a complete miss. All right. So in the end phase of the turn now, all we do is we move these guys back to fill in any gaps. So that was a gap that was left in the ship. Turn this spearman back around. Okay, and we get a drift. So the wind was going this direction, so the ships are going to drift 2 inches in this direction. Okay, so the ship's drifted there. No one's hitting any rocks yet, which is a good thing for them both. Okay, at the beginning of turn 2, we roll for initiative. Okay, both get a 1, so we re-roll. So these guys over here, red win again. Okay, and they are going to opt for crew initiative first, obviously. Okay, and the new target number that red roll is 4, which is the same, which means the wind changes direction, which is interesting. Okay, so where we're going to go, the wind is now traveling this way from this corner, and it's coming that way. So kind of in towards those rocks, which is probably worse for both of them. Having no ship movement phase with these 2 ships, we just go straight onto the crew, and these guys won the crew initiative. So now they've got some decisions to make. We can either throw javelins, we can take a strike with these guys straight away, or we can bolster our attack and defense. I think the best thing to do, because the berserkers are a bit crazy, is just to push the attack. I am wounded, which can be used against me, and if it comes up, I'll show you why. Okay, so we got a minor success there. The berserkers have 1 dice, and they roll a minor success, so they don't need to do anything. So totally wasted opportunity there by the spearmen. So we go back to these guys. They've already assaulted, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot, hoping to get their javelineers is what I'll be aiming for. So here we go. I hit the second guy, which is spearman again. All right, and 2 dice, nothing. Okay, so that's my archers gone. We go back to these guys. They're going to throw javelins, hoping to get the berserkers, obviously, but they don't. They hit the archers, so it's 2 dice, and they're both miss on 6s. Okay, so those guys have gone. Now we go back to these guys. So I can either brace here, or I can remove grapples or add more grapple tokens. I'm just going to keep them as they are and just go full assault with berserks. So we've got 3 dice with their first attack. Wow, we're rolling a lot of 6s. Total miss. Okay, and the last thing these guys can do is give a brace token, or if I wanted to, I could try and remove these grapple tokens and escape if I wanted to as well, which I'm not going to. I'm just going to, just for sake of the game, we're going to do that. So they brace. Second attack with the berserkers comes. It's at 2 dice this time. We've got a major success, which is bad news. I would have used this token, obviously, which puts these guys up to 3 dice in defense. Major success counters that, and 1 minor. So well defended on that side. And then these guys, they can opt to either, remove these grapple tokens or add more. I think we'll just pass on our turn, and that will be that. Having no deaths on the ships, we just get the drift, and we drift 1 this time. Remember, the wind changed direction, and we'll be drifting to here. So we're getting awfully close to the obstacles over here, which is a bit scary. Okay, so we go for the round initiative. 4 versus 6, so red win again. So it's a 6, so we roll target number, which is now a 5. So our targets are now 5. Okay, now these guys are going to opt to do crew initiative, so they'll just start straight away. I think the best thing we can do is throw javelins. Hope to hit something juicy. We hit the spearmen. So what we've got is 2 dice, both miss. So that's no good. So in retaliation over here, what we will do, so I think we'll just keep pressing the attack with these berserkers. So they've got 3 dice in attack. triple ones. Ouch, it's a full miss. We go over to these guys. They're just going to push the attack over here to get the berserkers. It's a major and a minor success. That's beautiful. That's what we want. 1 dice in defense with the berserkers, which is do or die, looking like die. Okay, so this is an interesting situation. We've got a wound, so we've got a death and a wound. So both of these have to be rolled for separately. Each death and then all wounds as one result. So we'll do the wounds first. And we're looking for a minor success, which would be a 6 or a 4, and they fail. So they're wounded, but do they just die outright? Let's have a look. They roll a major, which isn't what they're looking for, so they die outright anyway. So the berserkers get cut down by those spearmen, which doesn't go so great for them. Okay, and that robs them of their second attack ability as well. So we go back over to this ship, and what we have now is we have archers or spearmen. So we're going to go the archers. And who do we hit? We hit the first guy. We've got 2 dice. We get a minor success, and they have 2 dice in defense, and they get a minor success. So those two cancel each other. And back on this ship, on the good ship, what we have is spearmen. So what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. In their activation, they're going to board the enemy ship. So they're going to walk over to there, and that'll be their activation. Now, the only thing left on this ship is these guys, and they can't assault because the assault's been done, and they can't shoot. They could either do a brace token, but there's nothing left to attack them, which would be a waste of time. So what they do instead is they just pass. So in the end phase, we're just going to clean this up a little bit. So these spearmen move back to here, behind the ship now. They're still wounded, so I'll leave that there. And the only other thing that happens is drift, and they will drift 1 inch. So that'll put them right on that terrain, which is bad. Okay, so they've drifted onto this. This is a passable obstacle, so it's like sort of just little rocks everywhere. So what we'll do is we'll roll 4 dice against their hull, looking for 5s and 6s. So you've got a 4 and a 6, that's 2 minor successes, and then 2 misses. So they take another point of hull damage getting sort of trashed against the rocks, so they're half dead. They're in a strong position here, like they boarded this ship, but they could die to the rocks. Okay, so beginning of a new turn, what we have is 1 versus 3, red win again, yet again. Okay, so they've got a number of things they can do here. They've got an assault here, an assault there, or they can throw javelins. I like throwing javelins, so I'm going to do that. Let's have a go. They hit the spearmen at the front, 2 dice. A major and a minor success, which is massive. And in defense, they get a major and a minor success. Wow. So negated. So the javelins are done. These guys in retaliation are like, okay, well, I'm going to shoot you. They can only shoot at this guy until he's cleared. Then they can attack that ship. So 2 dice, sorry. So there's a major success, which is massive. 2 dice in defense. Nothing. So that's pretty nasty. That guy gets waxed by archery. Just walks straight into it. Must have been vulnerable when he stepped over the ship. So they're gone, and those guys are gone. So what we're going to do now is we're going to assault with these guys over here. Major and minor success, which is pretty big, and versus a major and minor success. Wow, we're really rolling well against each other here. In retaliation, the only thing we have left is these guys who can now assault over there. This is coming right down to the wire. We have a minor success. Remember, that guy's already wounded too, so if he takes another wound, he's dead. But he defends it with 2 minor successes. So that will be that. End phase is big. We have drift, and we're going to drift 2 inches, which is bad for this guy. So they drift right up into this terrain. Whoop, and this guy here is nearly in it. He'll be in it next turn. But could be all over here if they get sunk. So they've got 4 dice. They've only got 2 hull points remaining. And let's have a look at what we roll. 2 minor successes, and that's it. So they're on 3 hull. They've only got 1 left over here in the ship, so it's getting pretty dire. 1 more round of that should probably kill them. Okay, beginning of the next phase, we have 4 and a 6, a red win yet again. They're going to choose this round to go crew again. Okay, and they also roll a target number, which is now 1, and that is that. So red are back on again. I'm going to choose to throw javelins. I hit 1d2, which is the first guy. 2 dice. 1 major success with a 1. And 1 minor success over here in defense, which doesn't work. So those guys die. This is going to be interesting. It's probably going to end with both teams dying, I'm thinking at the moment. Because they're probably going to get sunk, and these guys have really got nothing left. Okay, so they've got archers left, so they decide to shoot. They hit the Javelineers, which is good for them. They get 1 minor success. Javelineers have a 1 defense. They get nothing. So we have another wounded dude over there. So both of the guys on that ship are wounded, which is interesting. And we have 1 assault left. So this guy over here is going to assault. He's got 2 dice, and both miss. So in the end phase, not looking so great. We roll, it's a 2 drift. So this ship is now deep into here. And then this ship is as well. What they probably should have done is try to remove grapples, but we didn't do that just for the sake of the argument. So what we do now is 4 dice against this ship. We're looking for 1s, remember? So there's a major success already and a minor. So this ship is trashed against the rocks and sinks, killing all of its crew. Now let's see if we can survive over here, because this ship has also drifted into the water. So we have a minor success, a minor success, a minor success, which is still only 1 point of hull damage. So that's on 2, and that ends that little scenario there. Now you can see in that situation, this ship only survived because the other enemy ship was positioned against rocks and took 3 turns of consecutive damage against rocks and sunk, which makes sense. Now these guys at the moment would be in a bit of a precarious situation, but they would be able to back themselves out or row out of this position, but still have a chance of being damaged. So that's pretty much how that one goes. So I hope you enjoyed this little taster into Fjord Serpents. We're going to be doing a lot more videos coming up. Just remember that at the time I make this, the campaign is still open on Indiegogo. If you want to back this product and see how it goes, you can see down here how beautiful these little miniatures are and the ships and how cool they look together. Yeah, Viking warfare, baby. It's where it's at. And that is that. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.